now. And, the thing, Congressman, we've been talking about is whether you guys in the Congress may be, not necessarily on China trade, that's the president's issue, but on USMCA could maybe give us a boost and get that thing passed, even with impeachment in the background. What do you think? Are you going to get it done? Or?
Well, there's no doubt about it that the two are very much linked. Passing USMCA gives us a better bargaining position when we're negotiating with China, opening up more markets for U.S. agriculture, for U.S. manufacturing with Canada and Mexico, puts us in a stronger position as we negotiate with China. It appears that we're getting closer, but it's obvious that with impeachment dominating all of the oxygen in the room on Capitol Hill, we're not close enough to passing USMCA. But I know President Trump has been meeting with House Democrats. He met with House Democrat freshmen yesterday to talk about what it's going to take to craft a deal. And hopefully we're getting closer than we ever have been before.
I was speculating earlier about incentives and wondering whether or not the other side of the aisle, from your perspective, whether the Democrats would have the incentive to actually get this done so that they can avoid the political criticism of, hey, all you worry about is impeaching the president. And I wonder, in speaking to your Democratic colleagues, do you see them coming around on this and wanting to get it done? Or is the opposite true, that they're trying to prevent the president from getting a quote-unquote win?
I believe sincerely that the majority of my House Democrat colleagues want to get USMCA done just as much as I do. I come from a rural district in Northeast Indiana where agriculture is important, where we have a large percentage of manufacturing jobs. USMCA is good for Republican districts and it's good for Democrat districts. So the pressure that those House freshman Democrats, for example, who come from the swing districts, the marginal districts, the pressure they put on Speaker Pelosi to get this done is what it's going to take to actually get it over the finish line.
So by the end of the year, would you predict it gets done?
I've learned around here in my short 3 years not to make too many predictions, but it is a fact that Democrats have as much stake here when it comes to USMCA as Republicans do. Let's get it done. It's good for the country. Speaker Pelosi knows that. She's held it up every step of the way for political reasons because it would give President Trump a big win going into the 2020 election. She doesn't want to do that, but ultimately this is important for our country, and that's why I hope she will decide to move it forward sometime before the end of the year.
We'll keep watching. And I want to ask you one question about this morning's developments. You may, at some point, as you know, have a vote on whether or not to impeach the president in the House of Representatives. Gordon Sondland, the ambassador to the European Union, with some testimony earlier today where he said, yes, there was a quid pro quo with regard to a White House meeting for the Ukrainian president, that he had to go forward, in Sondland's view, with an investigation of the 2016 election and also of the company Burisma. He was asked about the aid being withdrawn, or withheld, I should say. He says he never heard directly from the president about that, but he came to the conclusion there was also a quid pro quo on that front. Did today change the game for you in terms of a vote on a possible impeachment of the president, or would you defend the president's actions with regard to Ukraine?
The Sondland testimony from before to today has weaved all over the place. So it's still ongoing. I think they just broke for lunch, and then the afternoon will be filled with more questioning of Ambassador Sondland. So when the dust settles, I can answer that question more clearly.
But on that point I made, is that an impeachable offense? What I described to you, that quid pro quo reference in Sondland testimony.
We've got to look at the big picture. I'm still convinced there's no quid pro quo, there's no bribery, there's nothing impeachable when it comes to this. But you and I both know this is a political effort. The House Democrats are going to impeach the president. The Senate is going to refrain from removing the president. And I believe President Trump will be reelected in the process in 2020 because of it. And then we'll move on and have 4 more years to move this country forward and advance an important agenda for the American people.
Congressman, thank you for your time. Congressman Jim Banks, thanks for coming on with us today. We move to the other side of the moment. Mayor Pete